Hi, guys, and welcome to another Digital Jamaica live show. Listen, we've been serving you guys with exceptional, amazing conversations for how long? But you know that they've been totally torn up since 2021 from long time, from long time. Yeah. But guys, we have an amazing guest on our show today. Uh, Jarrod Best Mitchell, who is the LinkedIn boss. I want to be something to do with TT because these Trinidadians, you can tell if I got that right. um seem to have LinkedIn on point, like on point. So we're gonna hear from the LinkedIn boss himself a little later in today's show. But of only for juicy, delectable, delicious details to kind of discuss with you guys first. And I'm not even going to delay it any further. I jump in right into some updates from Digital Jamaica. Guys, the podcast is coming soon. Yeah? Listen out. Things are happening. Pot is bubbling. Things are cooking. And we will announce officially the release and launch dates. Yeah. But number two, unfortunately, Kadia is not going to be with us for today's show. She's not feeling 100%, so we're sending love and good vibes her way. Make sure you keep her in your thoughts and stuff. She is fine, guys. Just need a little rest, a little recuperation, and she will be back with us next week. Yeah. So I'll be holding down the fort for today's show. Mhm. So without any further ado, I'm gonna jump right into it because I wanna know, I'm not supposed to know the juicy that happened this week. The big news, bangarang. Can't run away from it. Guys, there was a massive, massive data breach on the Jam COVID app. I don't even think you guys understand. This was a major, no, so, getting into it, right? We've talked a lot recently, both here on Tech Time, on many of our features and shows about the work that the Amber Group has been doing. Um, Especially recently, especially since COVID, they started out with some vehicle tracking stuff. Okay, kind of cool, innovative, yeah. But since COVID, they actually are the ones who developed the Jam COVID app. And they did this mostly for free to our government. And they have since replicated the Jam COVID app in multiple countries, right? I'm going to tell you those countries soon. Um, they also have been in the news lately because they've partnered with Heart. You guys know Heart NSTA to create the Amber Heart Coding Academy, which we talked about both here and on Tech Time. And one of the awesome things about that is that they're guaranteeing job placements once persons are done with the program. Yeah. So a complete program, learn for a whole year. There's an internship and they guarantee you a job within the Amber Group. How much them are gonna pay? That's another conversation. But upskilling of people, they can learn the skill, put in the work, and I'm sure maybe they have a time cap that you have to, put in your dues, but people can get opportunities and uplift themselves. Yeah, all for it. Round of applause. Give people roses where roses are due. Yeah. And thank you so much, Dr. Sexy, and thank you, Tongs. That will fix up the liquor, Tongs. Uh-huh. Tongs. Yes, no, back to the juicy stuff. However, we woke up to some news, I think it was yesterday, where TechCrunch, guys, the big international news source, TechCrunch, Mamin Global, writing a release to say that immigration documents and lab results, super confidential information of thousands of travelers and locals. You can't forget the locals there. TechCrunch's focus and emphasis was the fact that Americans' data was corrupted. Me wanted Jamaicans' data was corrupted too and exposed. So let's break this down and kind of explain what happened, why it's an issue, and how we feel about it. And guys, I want you to chime in the comments and let me know your thoughts, because it can't just be me feel away about this. All right. So, first and foremost, the whistleblower was international news and media host TechCrunch. Oh, HOWO come. Turn like JPS, come. How? So what they explained is they've been doing some research, investigative journalism, for all like COVID related apps and stuff that multiple governments and institutions and stuff have put in place. So they were doing some research. They put some research, maybe. And they happened upon our app in doing their research, and they just so happened to find more than they bargained for. Oh. So basically, if you don't know, if you're living under a rock, visitors who are coming to Jamaica are mandated to download the COVID-19 app. There are some differences if you're going home or you're going to stay with family versus what they call the resilient area corridor, which is basically the hotel then where you're going to stay in at the hotel, right? And what they require for persons to do, I think for those staying outside of the resilient barrier corridor, whatever, is to record a video of themselves stating a unique code that changes every day, as well as if they have any symptoms, how they're feeling, all of those stuff, right? And so this contains video footage of persons literally checking in every single day. Yeah? Hmm. 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 Not only that, but person's passport information, their signatures, yeah, were all in here. No, where is here? This was a cloud storage server. All of the information that's been gathered and collected from thousands of people is held within this server. The server didn't have a password on it. The server, with all the information, never had a password. I must a joke. I'm have to laugh because how does that happen? How does that happen? And so basically, whenever persons were adding their personal information onto the app, uploading things onto the website as mandated by the government, this information was being uploaded onto the servers as servers do, as the process works. But this information was publicly accessible. Anybody from anywhere could go online and find it if they were looking for it. The data included more than 70,000, and they could give these facts because they saw the data. 70,000 negative COVID-19 lab results, over 425,000 immigration documents authorizing travel to the island, which included travelers' name, date of birth, and passport numbers, and over 250,000 quarantine orders dating back to June 2020, which was when Jamaica reopened our borders. The server also contained more than 440,000 images of travelers' signatures. How amazing. The server exposed more than 1.1 million of those daily updating the check-in videos. Remember I told you about the check-in videos? Yeah, 1.1 million of those exposed. Now, here where this gets a little saucy. There was also a folder in the server that spreadsheets. Sorry, let me state it correct. And this is all coming from the TechCrunch article. Guys, go read it. Go read it. All if you not read, go read it. Trust me, you gotta read the all of it. There were spreadsheets. I said there were dozens of daily timestamped spreadsheets called Pika. And they're saying it is, it's likely the Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency information that, however, these were restricted by access permissions. Okay, there is hope. There is hope in the Lord. But wait, there's more. The permissions on the storage server were set so that anybody, I mean me, anybody had full control over the files inside. So they were protected by access controls and permissions, but you could download or get it, delete all of the information contained in those spreadsheets. And they were like, but we did neither because that would be illegal. But we could have. No, where story really, 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 really come to bump is that, and them embarrassing, yeah, because the government tried to make a comeback to say, um, after after this bus, horse gone through the gate, everything, yeah. Uh this they let out a statement, and I'm gonna read. A thorough investigation was immediately initiated to determine if there were any breach in travelers' data security, if the vulnerability had been exploited, and if there was a breach of any laws. At present, there is no evidence to suggest that the security vulnerability had been exploited for malicious data extraction prior to being rectified. I'm not sure how they're going to determine the connection in between. And I guess this is what they're banking on in terms of lawsuits, because yes, they can be sued. And I believe this, hey, everybody's going through a hard time, and people would prefer for our government to suffer than them. Yeah. So um hmm, but a lot of persons, like, after putting in the data, there is oh, sorry, the government also claimed that they made contact with everybody whose data could have been exposed. Me personally know people. I'm talking with my chest. I know people who came to Jamaica within the period. They have not been called. They have not been contacted. They have not been emailed. So the government lied through their teeth. They said everything is okay, guys. I don't think anybody, use this information. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God, calm down. No, no. Literally, people are like, oh, this makes sense because someone tried to scam me and I never know how or where it was coming from. But yeah, makes sense now. Yeah, makes sense. Another reminder that maybe a lot of us don't know about is looking at GDPR guidelines. Now, literally, these are some laws and stuff that came in around the time that Facebook, remember the Supreme Court, maybe you don't remember, but America take Facebook to court based on privacy issues and using people's data, because America kind of going ham. They're like, Facebook has too much power. We want our systems to have power, but not like private citizens and private companies to have all this power that Facebook has. So we kind of want to shut it down. And so things like GDPR and stuff, regulations kind of popped up around the world, can spam, GDPR, etc. Right? Pardon me. GDPR guidelines around the use of people's data could mean the government being liable. You see, if we really take it up and decide to sue them, sue us, millions of euros, millions, millions of euros, not Jamaican, because that reach billion, trillion, tens of billions. That means only per money. Just for the data exposure alone. We're not talking about any further vulnerabilities. They don't need to show culpability of anything else other than the fact that their data was not treated and handled with the kind of care that they signed up for or they would have expected. There are literally no other, like literally GDPR guidelines state, if I tell you I want to come off of this mailing list and you don't remove me, me can file, me can sue you. So it really does not matter that whether or not somebody used it for malicious intent or harm. Oh, guys, everything is so great. It's not. It really isn't. And with scamming being such a huge issue in Jamaica and literally around the world, with persons' pockets being pressed based on the financial, hard times that we've been facing around the world. I mean, but it's unfortunate, but I, as a tech professional, I am happy that this happened now. Hear why. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm happy that this happened now because this is putting data security and data privacy front and center in the conversation as our government talks about, pushes for, advocates for the use of nets. So we're forcing them to take a more robust look at how we deal with our privacy, our data, our information, because a mistake or an error like this is too expensive to be repeated. Someone on the chat, JXHNP, is saying it sounds like anyone can get to the point of the password screen once you had the password, when usually they're normally firewalls before you get to that point. Yeah, that's where we are. And the truth is there was no password. So it wasn't even like at that point you got stuck. No, you could have just zoops fly right in. And to make matters worse in terms of lying through their teeth, like we talked about earlier, the author of the article said his team reached out to our Ministry of Health on Saturday, February 13. On Sunday, they got a response from a spokesperson and they stated names. They talk facts. Stephen Davidson, for asking for more information. So when the government issued the statement to say that they were made aware, was it Tuesday or Monday? That was not true. That was not true. They were told about it from Saturday, but didn't take it seriously and left. They said the lapse in security was discovered on February 16th, which was on Tuesday, when these persons notified them from Saturday. It is unfortunate. It is a major wake-up call for all of us. And I hope that we can take this seriously, and I hope we can really take this seriously and understand the implications. MX underscore NNG is saying, how can they say that it was not used for malicious intent or not? It's not like any hacker would reveal that. Oh, I have a huge plan for your data. Let me tell you about it. Nobody is doing that. So, I mean, wusa, 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 wusa. So, guys, we have only more news, but those will come in after we have our conversation, if we have time, with our amazing guest for this week. Now, I started telling you guys a little bit earlier, but I'll go into a little more information now. Today's guest, we have Jarrod Best Mitchell. He is Mr. LinkedIn, and it's another one of our Caribbean brothers. He's hailing from Trinidad and Tobago. So, Jarrod is a LinkedIn coach and sales trainer. Started out with sales training and has been helping a lot of persons to leverage and use LinkedIn to really grow, connect with their audience, etc. And we love when people can spit facts and can give numbers and figures and say, yeah, this is what I'm do. So Jarrod said, he spoke with his chest. He said in 2020, I was able to generate 200,000 uh, 200,000 TT dollars or 30,000 USD in business and generate 480,000 TT dollars or 70,000 USD in pipeline, 90% of it inbound. And for the marketers, it's attracting people to you, particularly through the content. And he specified through LinkedIn from the content I've created. So these tips and these facts and this information that we're going to be sharing with you guys is not just about, oh, that's nice or airy-fairy information. It is real stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Jarrod to jump on our screen and first start our conversation. Jarrod?
Good night, good night, good night, good night. How are you, Monique?
Welcome, welcome. I hope you're feeling the Jamaican.
I was listening to everything you were talking about. It was really good. Like I was shocked because in Trinidad it had a couple of big companies that got hacked recently, last year as well. The Antimacal group got hacked, and I think one other major company got hacked, and it caused a lot of problems on their end. So that is something you need to take serious.
Jarrod, so the worst part of it is them never get hacked. Our password, them never add to something.
Yeah,
So
boy. Didn't
everybody
even put
data,
on.
them never even put a password. We're not even talking with somebody didn't even have to try.
That's like you bill a bank, but they ain't put any door on the safe.
You
And
don't
it's
put
like,
no
and we
door.
have we have no security, and
It's like
the
you put up
entrance to
a
the safe is
sign.
on the outside.
It's like you put up a sign and say, please don't take any money. No door, no lock, no nothing, nothing.
It is hilarious. It's like, I don't know. Some people need to.
No, sir. I mean, trust
I'm
me.
sure.
So,
I'm sure
so
the
you
person in
can
charge of that.
believe, you can trust and believe that the government is having a very warm time because what I was talking about earlier, NIDS, it's a national identification system that they're trying to roll out. Uh, and they initially wanted to force everybody to have to get it.
No,
In order to do
nobody's going to get it now.
it was ruled as unconstitutional the way they were proposing it first. So they've been going through amendments, etc. No,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be voluntary. Uh, and they were pushing and saying integration of many different aspects and types of your data. So they want your biometrics, they want,
Normal stuff.
typical,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, things we give to US of A every time we pass through.
Exactly, but we have an issue here. But thanks for bringing me on. As I said, I'm excited to talk to the audience tonight because I believe Jamaicans aren't capitalizing on the power that is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I think even though the latest stats just came out, I think
Yes.
your grew by about, if it's not 20,000, how much was it? But it's not, if it's not 20, it is at least 40,000 you all grew by. 40,000.
Hmm.
So you all have about 510, 520,000 users now. Last year it was around 470,
Okay.
which is excellent. So,
Yeah.
but I still don't think, and last year I actually spoke on the Caribbean HR forum talking to HR professionals, and like many HR professionals from Jamaica aren't on LinkedIn. And I'm like, but LinkedIn is made for HR professionals though. Like,
Oh, yo, yeah.
so yeah, and I'm glad they mentioned these stats because it's something I mentioned to people, and I always tell
Yeah.
everyone, like I'm entrepreneur on my own. I produce all my content, and majority, as I said, about 90% of my business comes from LinkedIn. Like whether it's to do sales training or any sort of activity, um, a lot of it comes from LinkedIn because I'm putting out content there consistently. I'm doing what I need to do, and I treat it like if it's an actual sales activity, not just
Yeah.
a platform that I go on.
Yes. And I think that that's one of the that's a crux of the matter for persons who are really looking to leverage and use LinkedIn. But even before we get into those
Yeah.
details, how does somebody start? Meaning, how do I find my tribe, connect with my community on LinkedIn?
Well, it's similar to most other sites. So, for example, you could sign up for LinkedIn, it's free. There
Yeah.
are paid services that you can have, which I recommend only if you have a purpose on LinkedIn. Like if there's specific objectives with regard, say, sales or a recruiter, you get on LinkedIn. But it's just like any website. When you join, you can see people you can connect to. You could search for people based on industry, based on title. So let's go specific. Let's just say I am in procurement. I could just search LinkedIn to only be connected with procurement people around the world and in Jamaica, in the Caribbean. So like I could get that specific and find my tribe. So I can have conversations with those like-minded people because LinkedIn's detail in terms of who you could connect with on the platform is really, really unique. It's different from Facebook and all the others because I could run ads on LinkedIn to say I only want to connect with people in Jamaica who have the title of IT manager, and it will only show those individuals the ad specifically. It can get really, really detailed on it. So finding your tribe is easy when you connect to people. And I think you also, which I will also stress on for this entire interview, is finding a tribe deals a lot with creating the content that allows you to speak to them and showcase how great you are.
Yes. And we're going to go into content some more.
Yeah,
Yeah. But before we even reach there, how would you say is the right way to approach a potential um connection on LinkedIn?
just,
Because
I believe just connect.
just connect.
Just connect. In the past, I would have told you to send them a personalized invite. And even now, I may not, but maybe if you're unknown, you can. Like I'm fortunate where a lot of people know me, right? So if I send an invite, people know who I am, or they already send a connection request to me. But if you're trying to push your services, or you're trying to actually, let's get specific then. Let's just say I'm looking for a job. I find a recruiter who's in the organization who's doing the hiring. I would send Monique a personalized note in that case just to say, Monique, I'm just connecting with you because I'm interested in working with your organization and I recently submitted a resume for a position, right? Then,
Ooh.
when Monique accepts the connection request now, this is something that I'm very big on, which will go down to when we talk about like the purpose of engagement. I would either send a voice note or a video that says, Monique, thanks for accepting the connection request. I truly appreciate it. And if there's probably anything I'm missing out with regard to the role, we'll be glad to know so I could always be considered for future opportunities. Thank you so much.
Yes, guys, I can underscore that because full disclosure, Jared sent me one video message today, and I was like, "Oh my god, you can do this with a messenger on LinkedIn." So
Since
shame,
2019.
shame, yeah.
And
Uh,
and
and I quick, I said, "All right, let's go outside, let's show the Jamaican bush."
yes. And
uh,
you're one of the few people who respond via video because like I send a lot of videos. I'll tell you later amount in the engagement factor so people could
Yes.
understand. But I actually had 2 video responses today. You and another person named Trina
Yes.
from Denmark. But if I send 100 videos, probably 2 would respond back with video. People respond,
Mhm.
but respond with video, very
Yes.
small numbers. So in a unique category.
And you know why I chose to do it that way, other than my cute. Other than that part, it was how I felt when I saw your video. It was wow. You took time to pick up your phone, and really it probably was quicker than typing out the message and making sure that all the
Yep,
punctuation was right and whatever. But to me, the viewer, it was like, oh my God, I feel connected. I feel like I'm closer to you just because I saw a video message from you.
I'm glad you liked it.
So I feel like that's a major gem right there. Using some of the features, the unique features of the platform to really get you noticed.
Yep.
All right. So we're saying get into contact with people. Just get over it, guys. Don't overthink it. If you want to connect, connect. If you have a specific reason, or you're applying, you hear the strategy coming out. I've already sent in my application. I know
Yep.
what I want to do within this company. There is a purpose. I'm not just sending a blanket copy and paste thing to every recruiter. I'm saying I want
Personalize.
you.
Like so let me break this down to you all specifically, right? Notice, Monique, when I started your video, I said your name first. I didn't say, hey, there's Jarrod. Duh. Who was the message coming from? I said your name first. And I spoke about you. And I
Yes,
responded to what you spoke to me about. So,
yes,
and let me give you a bit of insight. To date, I have sent probably 4,200 videos to connections on LinkedIn, all personalized.
yeah,
Nobody has a generic message from me. Every
yeah,
message starts off with their name. And I want to
yeah,
bring that up because that recruitment strategy works on recruitment. If you're on this platform to get business and your services, it's a totally opposite strategy. I spend a lot of time engaging. I spend a lot of time making that first touch, that first communication. I spend a lot of time still asking, like if I was prospecting you, I would still ask you a ton of questions just to make sure that you fit my ideal client profile before it is I say, let me talk about what I do. And by that stage, I provided so much value. I've started asking you so much things about yourself. Honestly, persons just say, so what do you do? Like I look at your profile, and because I'm asking genuine questions, I do it. What I see a lot of people do on LinkedIn, which is what I stress anybody watching, is do not go in your DMs and pitch. Do not do that. You have a high probability of turning that person off. Because imagine if it wasn't for this interview, but imagine if your first message you get from someone is a sales pitch. Hey Monique, Jarrod here. I just wanted to talk to you about the LinkedIn services and stuff that I provide. My mic fell. That's funny. My about the LinkedIn services that I provide and the price is X and Y. You would be
yeah,
like, why do I want this? Why do I even care about this? Like
yeah,
this has no value to me. But if I
yeah.
started off conversations by saying, hey Monique, I noticed you run the digital Jamaica. I noticed you do this, which is what I actually that's how I started off the conversation
Okay, dear.
with Kadia.
Yeah,
Because I saw digital Jamaica and I'm like,
yeah,
this sounds like I honestly thought this is like a Caribbean white thing. So like, and I'm genuinely curious. I love to learn. So I'm like,
yeah,
hey, this sounds like something that should be done in Trinidad. And she's
yeah,
like, that's a good idea. But I was just genuinely curious. And
yeah.
because of that, it started the conversation. When you do that with people on LinkedIn, you would win. Where people fall short though is that they're not doing it with enough people. You're not spending time being genuinely curious with enough people. Some people spend time with Monique. No, I've probably sent about 25 messages today. I engage with as many people as possible because 25 by 5, 125, that's just building up and multiplying for me the amount of persons that I'm engaging with over time. So if you're trying to put your products and services out there, you don't want to come across as salesy. You want to make sure that you learn who the customer is, you provide that value, and then they would actually come and offer you these services. You wouldn't even need to tell them what you do. They would ask you.
And I love that, Jarrod, because what you just underscored was this takes time. It's not a magic pill. Like the
Yeah.
formulas work. The formulas work, no doubt. But
Yep.
if you are serious about it, if you want this to grow your business, to expand and show your services, just like everything, just go there and just say, see me here. You actually engage and connect on a human level with the other person. And absolutely, going back to digital Jamaica and that conversation, it absolutely is a push and an initiative. It started out with a love for Jamaica and wanting to
Hmm.
highlight the amazing things that our people have been doing within the tech and digital spaces that nobody was talking about. So you
Right.
have software developers working for the Jamaican software developers working for the biggest companies around the world, the Apples, the Googles, the
Hold
Microsoft.
on. Don't you remember when we launched when they launched the Samsung Galaxy S20? Was it the S21 or the S20? It was a
Mhm.
Jamaican who was one of the main speakers.
Me say, yeah.
Like
And,
y'all all over the world. We Caribbean people all over the world doing amazing things.
and nobody was talking about it. We're talking
Listen,
about,
when I saw
so
the launch,
yes.
when I saw him speaking, I was like, okay, I saw the name and immediately I just went to Google. I was like, that had to be a Caribbean person. That is no way. That is
Like,
not
like,
that is not African, that's not European, that is a Caribbean. When you heard it, and of course, in the natural way we are, we started to narrow it. I was like, that is either St. Lucian or Jamaican. Like I just hear two distinct. I was like, great. Found them, it was Jamaican. And my colleague, because I used to work Samsung before, and my colleague who was the marketing manager, she's Jamaican. I'm like, Grisha. She's like, yes, I know. It's a Jamaican. I was like, best day ever. Best day ever. But yeah, you're correct. It takes time,
Mhm.
which is what I want a lot of people to think of. Even for those of you who have Instagram following, to have anything with your business, this
Yes.
takes time. If you understand your purpose for this platform, it will take you time. But if you're consistent with it, especially for how hot LinkedIn is right now, like the huge like LinkedIn right now, over the period of last year to now, crossed over 720 million users worldwide. The Caribbean alone, if you count Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Barbados, Guyana, you're looking at 1 million users alone on LinkedIn.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is the time where you need to be on it, but you also need to be active, engaging, creating content, showing what how great and awesome you are, and definitely putting your stamp, your own individual stamp on the platform.
All right. So we talked a little bit about using InMail to kind of have conversations, and we're kind of shifting the conversation from prospecting people
Hmm.
to truly engaging with them. Also, you mentioned something, making the focus and the concentration on them rather than on yourself and saying, "This is what I do." Uh,
Yeah, don't
yeah,
listen,
yeah,
look at somebody. Listen, let me tell you a little tip I do, right? I look at somebody's title and I go straight to dumb mode. Hey, Monique, what is Digital Jamaica? Like, that's the first time I've heard that. Like, after you
yeah,
connect, like, just be honest. Like, and that to me has worked a lot because at the end of the day, we like talking about ourselves.
yeah.
So if you see somebody's title, especially if you know something that might be happening in their industry, it's a great way to start the conversation and just keep asking things about them, especially if you know what's going on in their industry. Because like I'm working with a lot of real estate clients. So if I connect to people in real estate, I would mention something in real estate. I have a lot of insurance clients. So I mention stuff with regards to insurance. And those
Hmm.
things get the conversation, it gets the ball rolling. And of course, it builds more value because it never started off with I'm Jarrod, I do this. At that point of connection, nobody cares.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. And what's true too is that when somebody really connects with you on that level, I mean, I want to build connections too. So the person that you're reaching out to wants to build meaningful connections at the same time.
Yep.
So by providing value, by sharing, hey, This is how I can help you. And I think you mentioned you wanted to do ABC. I know somebody who does ABC. You know, how can I
Exactly.
to you? Yeah, and that opens up the world to me because now I want to help you back. Oh my God, anything you need. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
works out. It works out absolutely great.
reciprocity. And I mean, it's the same fundamental principles that we use across our platforms, but sometimes just wrapping your mind around how to approach this on the different platforms can, can stump persons sometimes. Guys, I asked you at the beginning to put your questions in the chat. I've been
Yes.
reading the chat. Yeah. Some people come on, they say, hey, conversation around the previous stuff. You have the opportunity with a LinkedIn expert who make it that coin using LinkedIn. Yeah. All who
Just
have
saying.
for ear will hear. Yeah. So um so now we touched on the content conversation, and I've seen I've seen a lot of your content, and you mentioned you do your content.
Yes.
What are all heap of people struggle and don't know what to put out, especially on LinkedIn. They may get to the Instagram.
Right.
Yeah, my face is fleeking, my this, that, and people like this on Instagram, but not get that same
Because
forward.
LinkedIn is a different thing. So let's explain content in a couple of ways. And let's explain it
Yeah,
from what people have a misconception of LinkedIn on. LinkedIn is for business, not business people. Because people think LinkedIn is suit and tie. LinkedIn is for business people. I found my welder on LinkedIn. Notice what I said. My welder is on LinkedIn. My welder has more followers than me on LinkedIn. My welder
backside.
stopped posting on LinkedIn as often. Why? Because he said when I post, I get too much jobs and I can't handle the workload. My welder. So stop thinking LinkedIn is suit and tie. And when he puts out his content, it's literally a picture or a video of him completing or installing the work that he's done. So let's talk
Oh,
about all the different types of content you could do on LinkedIn. The most popular one is written text. Written text gets the best engagement. If you know how to write a great story, express your opinion on something, which I highly recommend, be opinionated, say something about an issue, you have a great way to build your audience if you could write. You could put GIFs with text, you could put pictures with text, you can make carousels just like what you have on Instagram. You could do video, which is my main form of content and engagement. There are lots of different ways. You could upload your white papers and all if you're doing those kind of things. You could write long form articles. If you're a blogger and you write more long stuff, there's
yeah,
different types of ways that you could reach your audience on this platform. I just use video because it builds brand the fastest, it creates trust the fastest, and that familiarity factor is key. Like I do video so much, people recognize me with my mask on. And I can't recognize them because I have no idea who they are. They don't put out content,
yeah,
but they follow mine,
yes.
right? I mean, I also wear yellow all the time, so that's how people know it's me. But at the same time, people see me and they're like, "Oh, that's Jarrod." Like, I know who Jarrod is because he puts out video. Like, so you want to make sure and pay attention to that and pick the type of content that you're most comfortable with and literally start putting stuff out. And I'll say this point too as well. It doesn't matter if it's your first day on the job or if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you have value to add. You either talk, and let me tell you, talk about your experiences. If it's your first day on the job, talk about your first day job jitters. Talk about the things that you're learning. You have no idea how much the audience might relate to that. And especially if you're doing sales, that comes across great for your audience. Like you just sharing stuff that you know, your audience is going to love it. Your audience is going to start following you for it. And eventually, if it is that you're pushing things like business, your audience is going to respect you for it
Yeah.
and give you business.
We talk a lot about
Oh, no, no, no. Hold on, Shannon. Shannon is saying something here. Let me just pause Shannon on IG here for a second, right? Shannon is
okay.
saying that he people see the mask, right? No,
Yeah.
sir. You're going to love this one. I have beard mask, my friend. I cover my beard. I don't show my beard. The entire thing is covered and people recognize me this way. All right.
All right, so we have two questions. One from Poitiers Group, which is our Pips, another Caribbean massive, uh, asking how often should one post and engage on LinkedIn?
Okay, that's two different things. One, you should be engaging on LinkedIn every single day if you're not creating content, because engagement gives you just as much value as putting content. If you
Yeah,
find the audience, and you could do it through hashtags now, like you could find your industry through hashtags, and
yeah,
you're
yeah,
contributing in those top conversations, that gets you a lot of attention to your profile. So that is the first thing that I recommend, right? If you don't produce content, you better be there every single day engaging. I have my engagement times at 8 and 9 in the morning, and then probably at 5 and 6 in the evening. So I have two separate times. For you, I just recommend it once a day. You take half an hour, scroll and add your valuable 2 cents, put your knowledge out there. With regards to content, I put out content every day. I make put out content sometimes twice a day, depending on how I feel. But if it is you're not comfortable with that, I would recommend at least start once a week. And if you're
yeah,
getting that rhythm once a week, because I'm sure everybody could post something once a week, then do it twice a week. And then eventually increase as you do over time.
yeah, yeah. I love that. Shannon, same one. Um, is asking, always saying, always great to hear Jarrod share his depth of knowledge. I'm curious, what's the difference between recruiting, as you mentioned earlier, and selling?
When you're a recruiter, you have people who love you. When it is that people are trying to sell you a service, the recipient on the other end sometimes isn't as receptive. So recruiters, especially given the market that we have now, where so many people are out of a job, recruiters are honestly like gods in some cases, especially for the ones who are successful at connecting people to jobs. Their inboxes, their followers are some, like there's a guy named Akeem Branford here in Trinidad. He probably has about 25,000 followers, and he does resumes for people around the world from
Yeah,
LinkedIn. So
yeah,
it all based on what the profession is. You honestly have to change your approach, because let's put it this way. If I'm looking for a job, it's a different approach in the DMs. But if I'm trying to be a thought leader, there's a different approach in terms of how I put content out. If I'm trying to talk about my products and services, there's a different type of content that I put out and a different way that I approach people when I message them on LinkedIn as well.
yeah, definitely. And there is, I'm trying to remember her name. There's an HR professional from Trinidad and
Bridget
Tobago.
Hyacinth, she has one of the most
Yes.
highest followers in the world. Bridget has around 3.2 million followers on LinkedIn.
Miss, say, I wonder what is it in that water that una drinking? Is it in the oil? Is it in the soca or the calypso?
I had a
Because
I had a long-term theory behind Bridget. There's a long-term theory I had. I think what Bridget posts a lot on is things that LinkedIn loves, which is leadership, HR, and humility. Right? So if you look at her content now, because I've been following for a while, some of it is very repetitive. It's things that she's posted in the past, but
over and over.
it's things that still resonated at the end of the day. When people sing their greatest hits, isn't it a sold out concert?
Yes.
And
Yes.
because there are new people coming onto the platform every time and they're now seeing her content, they're seeing it for the first time. I've seen it 10, 15 times already.
Yes.
So it's all based on, remember, you could put out that same type of content. It's just that, and it's the same repurposing like what you do on all the other platforms. Because if I know my following has double, it's high probability nobody's seen a first post that could
Seen
still be
half of those
value.
old things.
And
Yeah.
therefore I have content. And for those of you putting stuff out on Instagram and stuff on the other platforms, you could sometimes repurpose that same content and put it onto LinkedIn. So you don't even need to reinvent the wheel. You just probably need to change your copy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the same bones can exist and can
same
function
thing. The,
across the
the,
different
the tip
things.
that I have with content for people though is that, because I know people have a hard issue with content, I actually have my own number. I actually have my number on WhatsApp. So as I come up with an idea, I just message it to myself. And
Ah,
I have it under the heading content. So I could search through and I probably have like about 6 or 7 or 8 different ideas. So anytime I want to come up with content, the ideas already there. It's just for me to execute and figure out how to put it on video, text, GIF, image, etc., carousel, whichever one.
yes. Same thing applies with a notes app, with anything that can keep you in
Yep.
touch to go. I really love that. So for struggling, yeah, who persons
Mhm.
who may be struggling with creation of content. All right. So ND
Oh,
communications.
my good friend,
Yeah.
one of my clients here is actually asking a great question,
Yeah.
which is Nicolette, which is ND Communication. So shout out to
Yeah.
you. I know watching it here on my phone. She's asking what's the best type of content for LinkedIn stories.
Yes.
Um, LinkedIn stories, I think, should be treated similar to your IG stories in terms of the number of posts. Because if you notice on IG stories, people engage with that more than your actual post. So if it is that you put out 10 stories a day, you should try and duplicate that amount on LinkedIn. I'm doing my best to get up to that, but I keep forgetting it simply because LinkedIn stories format is horrible. Like I can't click on your profile, Monique, and see if you post any stories. LinkedIn doesn't give you that opportunity. I have to scroll through the feed manually, like if it was a rotary dial phone, and scroll through it manually just to see who put up stories. And it have a lot of options with the graphics and everything that you can do. But I think behind the scenes gives you the best options as well. So like, and also too, one good feature LinkedIn has, which you don't get on Instagram unless you have 10,000 followers, LinkedIn
Yeah.
allows you to link stuff directly back to external sites as well, which I think is pretty good. So you can
Yes.
link people straight back to your LinkedIn profile to a post that you did to say, I just did a new post, or you could send them straight to your website or straight to a site to check out an article, to check out something that you've written.
I love that. So that mysterious feature that we've all been looking for on Instagram, where you can send persons directly to your website, directly to your shop, directly to anywhere that you're leading them to.
Oh no,
Enough.
let me give you that gem. Let me give you that gem. So everybody take
Yeah.
note of this. You need to search Jason Pantana on YouTube
All
and
right.
look for how to get swipe up on Instagram. He does a video if you have less than 10,000 followers, how to get the swipe up feature on Instagram. He walks you through the entire process.
All right. Guys, you get broadcast.
And
I
that's a real good video.
I hope you guys have been noticing that my head has been down for best believe I'm a digital girl,
Notes, I love it.
kind of girl. I must say notes. I got notes. Yeah,
Yes.
guys. We also will be doing a replay. This is gonna go up on our YouTube, guys. So if you missed anything, if you had people who never joined today in the live session, they can always catch us again on YouTube. Yeah,
Forward
yeah,
this live to them. Forward the live to them so they could see.
yeah, so that they can see it and they can get this information because this is juicy. Like I told you guys, I was excited. So yes, Jason Pantana,
Yeah.
right?
Jason Pantana. Pantana.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, hold on. I'll look for it on YouTube here now. Actually, I'll put the link in. I'll WhatsApp you the link right after I get it. I'll send it to you in LinkedIn. Let me just find it here.
Yeah.
Jason Pantana. Swipe up on IG. Yeah, look at here. Get the swipe up feature. You're looking for get the swipe up feature in Instagram stories without the 10,000 followers.
All right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So you guys can check that out. All right. So I've made my connections. I've gotten
Yes.
people on. But what about cementing those relationships? Like touching, maybe even touching base with someone that I connected with a long time ago, but I want to, slide in that email and have that conversation again. Um,
I treat it like if it's real life. Like just make do it like so the reason why I send videos to people is that I treat it like it's real life. If we met in person, I wouldn't put on my phone and text hi Monique. I would say hi Monique in person. So I send the
yeah,
video. So just as if you're trying to restart a relationship or a conversation, just restart the conversation. I think what
yeah,
people have to understand is that rejection is part of life in sales. Like
yeah,
if you're trying to approach people, no matter what the objective is, like here's a funny stat. Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon, richest man in
yeah,
the world. He pitched, I think, if I remember correctly, to 62 or some large amount of people for $50,000 each in shares. Those people are now billionaires or millionaires. He asked over 200 or something at first, and only, no, he asked 60 something, and only like 10 people accepted. So you have to go through the motions, which is why I said the more people you provide value to,
Yeah.
the more opportunities you have on the
You will
platform.
get.
So
Yeah.
if it is that you're really trying to cement relationships, just have conversations, just engage in somebody's profile, just put those 2 cents. I'm telling you, you have no idea how much that means to people. Those who don't just click like, and actually, let me put it twisted. If it's a topic that you don't like, but somebody trying to connect with, don't comment because it won't be genuine. So be genuine. So if you found the topic and they see something good to talk about, jump in it with all your heart, put the value there. That is how you stay engaged. That is how you build relationships with persons. Because I've been connecting people throughout the world on LinkedIn, and a lot of it has just started because I just started engaging with their content or they engage with mine. And we
Yeah.
started conversations. We took it offline. We had good stuff. We collaborated on different things, and it
Yeah.
works out really well.
And you genuinely build real relationships with them.
Yeah,
Okay, so our time is running out. Any
no problem.
last words or final tips, recommendations, any plugs you want to plug, any razzle dazzle you want to sprinkle on top?
Next week, I'm launching all my new LinkedIn services. Because I've just looking at how I do the business a little different. So you'll see it on my website, jarrodbestmature.com. Of course, you'll see it on LinkedIn as well. I'll have it on my Google My Business page. And the only thing which I'll tell you all to think of is this: LinkedIn is severely underutilized by Jamaicans. And let me explain to you all this. This is how I break it down for everyone. Think of the most prime real estate that you can in Jamaica that you can get for free. The problem is everybody's on it, but nobody's building a house. So you need to be on LinkedIn, but you can't just be on it. You need to build your
Yeah.
house. You need to
Yeah.
build it through engagement. You need to build it through content. You need to build it by having good conversations with people. Because this platform right now is going to be very, very important. And it's been important for a long while. You've seen it with what I've
Yes.
done so far. And it's going
Yes.
to be very important for you. Because here's the thing. I think the fact that a lot of Jamaicans underestimate the power of this platform is a huge benefit to the ones who don't. So the
Yeah.
ones who are on it are going to get the opportunities way easier, way faster, and way more than the ones who are thinking this isn't a serious platform.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, yes, LinkedIn is a social platform, but this is where the business happens. I have my stuff on Instagram. I kid you not, I probably have gotten only 2 leads ever on Instagram. Like 2 people message me about stuff that I do on Instagram. Everything else generates from LinkedIn. Everything else.
Yeah.
Last step for recruiters. The reason why I want, for people who are looking for a job, the reason why I want a LinkedIn profile properly done is because recruiters, when they Google search you and they submit your resume, LinkedIn is probably the first choice that comes up because LinkedIn
Yes.
is highly ranked in SEO.
SEO. Yeah.
And what happens now is because LinkedIn is your professional version, you have the I forget the bias, but one of the biases comes into play, the anchor bias, which means that the first thing I see of you, which is your LinkedIn profile, is what I remember. So if you have a great LinkedIn profile, you're gonna score higher with
Impression.
recruiters. Even if they go on your Facebook and your Instagram and they see one or two stuff that may be off, the LinkedIn is there first. So
Yeah.
you want to be on this platform. You
Yeah.
cannot think that this platform is not something to invest in right now, individually, entrepreneurially, business wise. Wrong. You have to be on this platform. You have to be on LinkedIn.
All right, Jarrod. Thank you so much for those amazing words. Guys, my new story, them got. It was an amazing conversation. Thank you
Yes, it
so much
was. Thank you.
for joining with us. And this is the power of connecting with people. Always happy to connect with our Caribbean brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Guys, thanks for an amazing show. We'll see you again next week.